yet, but let's just start by, say, if you're watching live, comment live, and if you're watching the replay, comment replay. And today's weekly workshop, I'm going to talk about the not just physical benefits of exercise and a little bit about injury prevention as well. So we'll give it a couple more minutes to see if anyone else joins in live. But if you were aware, I posted a couple days ago a poll on what I wanted everyone to vote on what their top form of cardio exercise was. And I loved seeing all the voting in the comments, and the clear winner was walking, which is a great exercise. And then right under that was running, and then hiking, and then cycling. And there was a couple more options in there, the elliptical, and those are all great options. My preferred number one is running, which is why I put a picture of me running on this first page. So this is a picture of me running the Chicago Marathon. That was 4 years ago. It was my last marathon, so quite a while ago. But I am training for my 10th marathon coming up in November, and it's the New York City Marathon. So I wanted to start just a little sharing of my personal kind of journey with running. So I started running, I think I was about 14, and I ran cross country and did track throughout high school. Almost did track in college, but it was a little burned out, so I did not do track in college. And I kind of fell off the exercise bandwagon in college. You know, occasionally would run 3 miles here and there, but I didn't really start long distance running until my oldest son was born. So he's now 14. And when he was about 7 months old, probably a little bit before that, I was bored. I was not working. It was winter, and I thought I would start running. I had some friends that signed up for a marathon, and I'm like, sure, that sounds fun. So I started running more to lose kind of the postpartum baby weight. And then quickly I fell in love with long distance running. And I ran my first half marathon when he was 7 months old, and my first marathon when he was about a year. And then ever since then, I've just really stuck with it. Because for me, it developed more from a desire to get in shape and lose weight as a way of monitoring and managing my mental health. I call it my daily therapy. So there's some great benefits that we will chat about today. So since then, I've again run 9 marathons, currently training for my 10th, and I've run 14 half marathons, and I have number 15 coming up actually this Saturday. All right, so if you're just joining in, just comment live if you're watching live, or replay if you're watching replay. And if you do have any questions that come up as I'm kind of talking about all of this, about running, exercise in general, don't hesitate to add any questions in the comments, and I will definitely get to those. Just a little bit about me though, Brianna Bauerle, if you are new to the community, I'm a certified health and wellness coach, and with an emphasis in emotional eating. I'm also studying to get my personal training certificate and a nutrition certificate. So hopefully I will have those done within the next few months is the goal. All right, so let's dive in. So there are many health benefits, not just physical benefits of running. And if running is not your go-to cardio exercise of choice, I want you to, anytime I wrote the word running, just substitute it with whatever your top choice is, whether that's walking, hiking, cycling, elliptical. A lot of the articles and research that I did in preparing this workshop specifically said running, but I think it doesn't matter what you choose to do for your cardio exercise, whether it's walking, cycling, again, a lot of these benefits, you will get the same amount of these benefits compared to running. So again, just substitute anytime you hear the word running. If that word makes you cringe, just put in whatever word you love to hear. But in general, regular exercise, which is at least 150 minutes of exercise a week, which equates to about 30 minutes, 5 days a week. And running in particular has major disease-fighting benefits. So exercise can help prevent obesity, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, and even some cancers. So also stroke. I can't quite see my reading now. But in addition to the calorie burn during exercise, high intensity exercise such as running promotes EPOC, which stands for the excess post-oxygen consumption. So in other words, your calorie burn continues even after you stop working out. This is also called the afterburn. Running also greatly improves the quality of mental and emotional health. Another benefit is running reduces your risk of cancer. So regular exercise has been proven to be associated with lower risk of breast, prostate, colon, endometrial, and possibly even pancreatic cancer. And for those who have cancer or have had cancer, running can improve the quality of your life while in treatment. And this is due to the benefits that it plays in your emotional health, your mental health, even the social aspect. Getting you outside in nature, the improvements in breathing, so many different benefits that can improve the quality of life. Running or exercise does improve your overall health. So not just your muscles, joints. Running can also improve your eyes and brain health due to the effect it has on your nervous system. Running also supports your bone density and has been shown to be one of the best forms of physical activity for preventing osteoporosis in women. So especially as we age and our bones lose some of their density, physical activity like cardio can greatly increase our bone strength. There was a study done of 675 marathon runners that show that they have lower arthritis rates than non-runners. So hopefully if I keep it up for 20 more years or so, hopefully I'll experience that benefit, but time will tell. And aerobic activity also activates your immune system. It may help prevent viral illnesses. So as we're approaching fall, winter, that sixth season, maintaining your aerobic activity can really greatly increase your immune system and hopefully prevent you from getting some of those common viral illnesses that we all know that we get around this time of year. Running also helps reduce your stress. Running helps minimize the negative effects that chronic stress can have on the parts of the brain responsible for learning and memory. Studies have also proven that the negative effects of stressors remain reduced in individuals who are physically active compared to those who are not active. I can attest to this one for sure. The days that I don't run or aren't physically active, I do find myself feeling a lot more stressed in those days. And I think it probably portrays to those around me. I know my husband will come home from work and like, did you run today? And I said, you can tell. Like, no, I didn't get it in. So definitely can help reduce our stress levels. Running does make you happier. A 2012 study showed that just 30 minutes of running for 3 weeks, that's just 3 times a day as well, boosted sleep quality, mood, and concentration on those days. Running can reduce the risk of depressive symptoms, which basically means that runner's high is real. So if you've ever gone on a run and you come home and you feel like you're on a high, like you could keep going, it's because of those benefits, that stress relief that it can help with, and just generally overall making you feel happier. Running can also give you a sense of accomplishment. So whether you're hiking, walking, cycling, running, each runner workout is new. Every day is different. So whether you on that day ran an extra minute, you tackled a challenging hill without stopping, you finished a run stronger than the last one, or you just maintain a positive attitude throughout the workout, you can accomplish something new each time you step out the door. and can also keep you sharper, especially as you age. So regular exercise does help defeat age-related mental decline, particularly task switching, selective attention, and working memory. Studies do consistently find that fitter older adults score better on mental tests than their unfit peers. And running, if this isn't a reason to start, so physical activity, running does add years to your life. Even just 10 minutes of leisurely running a day can help you live longer. Studies show that when different types of people start exercising, they do typically live longer. So the studies specifically looked at smokers. Smokers added 4 years to their lives, compared to non-smokers added 3 years after starting a running regimen. Cancer survivors added 5.3 years to their lives, and those with heart disease added 4.3 years. So if physical activity running is new to you, there's definitely some tips for beginners. And if you're not wanting to start running, this could work for cycling, just getting outside, hiking, walking more often. So these tips can be relatable to all forms of cardio exercise. A huge tip for me is working out, getting it done in the morning. Morning workouts do tend to help people experience higher levels of energy, productivity, creativity, and focus during the workday. Also less likely to feel an afternoon slump and to put off your workout because of feeling too tired. We've all been there where we don't get good sleep, and so we sleep in, we don't get our workout in the morning, and then the day goes on and we just get tired and we keep putting it off, and then nighttime rolls around and we're just too tired to do it and we don't want to do it. It's the last thing that we want to do. But working out in the morning can help prevent a lot of that. And sometimes it's hard to not push snooze, but I definitely know that from personal experience that if I put off my run until the afternoon, it is definitely more of a struggle to get it done. So as much as I'd love to hit snooze, those days that I do get up and out of bed and get it done in the morning, I never regret it. Another great tip is to start with walking. It's kind of letting go of that all or nothing mentality is. If you're wanting to start running or an exercise regimen, we think, oh, I just got to do it, going from 0 to 100. But that typically is not the best approach. So if you're wanting to get into more of a running activity, walking is a great way to begin. So typically starting with 20 to 30 minutes, 3 times a week for a few weeks, letting your body adjust to that amount of movement, and then eventually progress to run-walk intervals. Start with like 20 minutes, 4 times a week. And to minimize your risk of injury, start with 30-second run, followed by a 90-second walk, and just repeat that for 20 minutes, slowly building up to 30 to 35 minutes. Once that gets more comfortable and you're easily able to do that 30-second run without feeling too winded, then it's probably ready to progress to 60-second run and then a 60-second walk for 30 to 35 minutes, and then increase from there. A great tip is using your breath to find your pace. A lot of new runners start off too fast, so maintain a speed where you can easily converse or sing. I even do this now. It's so easy to start off too fast, faster than you think that you should be going. So I even do this now. So even when I'm running alone, it kind of sounds a little bit silly to do, and I make sure there's no people around me, but I kind of talk to myself, or if I'm listening to music on my AirPods, I'll start singing along to the song. So if you can, without breathing heavily, get out a few sentences before you have to take another breath, that typically means that you're at an appropriate pace. I also try to breathe through my nose. So every mile or so, I'll take a few deep breaths through my nose to kind of slow my heart rate, slow my pace. So if I can do that, if I can breathe through my nose for a few different breaths in a row, then I know that I'm going at a good speed for that day. So really the idea is to finish each run wanting and knowing that you can do a little bit more instead of feeling like you want to die when you're finished. Another good tip is don't run every day. I got into the bad habit of this where feeling like I had to go every day to see progress and to improve, or I had to run, for an hour every day. But that just typically leads to burnout. Your body definitely needs time to recover. So start with 3 runs a week. Then after 6 weeks of that consistently, and that would be a good time to add in a 4th day and, increasing from there. And even now training for a marathon, I run 5 days a week. I'm definitely no elite runner where I have to run double digits every day of the week. I have found that I am improving my times and my recovery by running actually less. Some of you may have seen the post I did a couple weeks ago. Very vulnerable post of my progress photo where 10 years ago, I was strictly 95% running and not eating enough carbs. And it wasn't until I stopped running every day, added in some strength training, started eating a more balanced diet with lots of great protein and quality carbs that my body started seeing the benefits from that. So it's definitely works. Another good tip is focusing on minutes instead of miles, which can be a little bit less daunting. So having a plan to run for 30 minutes gives you a little bit more wiggle room to have a bad day or to take it slow if you're not really feeling it, instead of thinking that you have to run 3 miles. Actually, this training cycle that I'm currently doing, this is the first training program that I have focused on this. So instead of a weekly mileage to hit each week, every run I'm focusing on running for minutes. So long runs, instead of running, say, 15 miles today, run for 2 hours and 15 minutes, or today run for 45 minutes. And that's really helped me mentally be less daunting than feeling like I have to hit that certain amount of mileage for the day. Because there are some days where I'm sore, I'm tired, and so I might not want to hit that 7-mile mark. But if I hit my goal in 50 minutes, whether that's a little bit slower than my normal pace, I can feel good about that. Definitely progress smartly and safely, kind of that all or nothing mentality again. So really designate only 1 run per week as your long run, and that might be 3 miles. It could be less than that. It could be 15 minutes longer than your walk or run during the week. Just want 1 run per week as a little bit longer than the others. And then if you're wanting to eventually increase your total weekly mileage, do that every other week by no more than the number of days per week you run. So since I run about 5 days a week, I don't want to increase my mileage each week by more than 5 miles per week. So that can definitely, if you do too much, overload your body, that can definitely lead to injuries. It's also good to mix up your runs. Once you can consistently run for 30 minutes straight, try adding in intervals or a little speed work. And switching up your exercise, routine, also helps prevent you from getting bored. Also, your route, if you walk your neighborhood a lot or bike your neighborhood, run the same path, trail every day, that can definitely get bored. So switching up your route, even, turning right from your front door instead of left like you typically do, that can help stave off some boredom. And then if you are wanting to eventually run a race, find a training plan. If that's your ultimate goal, find an appropriate training plan. For a 5K, the Couch to 5K plan is definitely a great place to start. And if, the idea of a race is not something that you even want to consider, you do it more for the enjoyment, that's definitely, you don't have to consider yourself a runner. This doesn't mean you have to race. You know, anyone's a runner. If you go out your front door and just run a mile, you are a runner. You don't have to do a race to consider yourself a runner. A good tip is invest in quality gear. Running shoes can definitely get pricey, but your feet, knees, and hips will thank you. Because the standard is every pair of shoes can handle about 300 to 400 miles. So however long it takes you to run, walk 300 to 400 miles, that's when you should replace your shoes. Also, a good tip is to have an accountability group. Knowing that someone is up and waiting for you can help prevent you from hitting that snooze button, especially if you're wanting to work out in the morning. Plus, running with friends can be a great form of therapy. I was always that runner that just really went by myself every day, but then I did find a group, a couple fellow moms, fellow long distance runners, and we started running together about once a week, and it was definitely motivating and helped me get out the door, especially in those cold winter months when it's pitch dark, and it helps with safety concerns as well. And probably the most important tip is to remember why you're out there, whether it's for your fitness and health, to increase your mindfulness, to be social, or for the competition. Define your motivation and enjoyment to kind of help power you through those hard days, those days where you really don't want to get out the door. Sorry for all the typos. I should have probably proofread this before going live. So in addition to those tips, just some additional injury prevention, and this not specifically geared towards running, can be geared towards any form of aerobic exercise, but incorporate strength training. I think that's the #1 best way to avoid injuries. I've had, many of injuries in my day: plantar fasciitis, glute problems, hip problems, IT bands, rolling my ankles. I've been running for 20 plus years, so I've definitely seen my fair share of injuries. And I haven't, the #1 thing that has helped with my injuries is incorporating strength training, which I've gotten more serious about within the last about 3 years. And definitely since then that I have seen a much decrease in how my body recovers and just how I'm feeling generally after each run. Another great tip is to incorporate plyometrics, and that could be that's like jumping, jump squats, skaters, like the back and forth, side to side movement. Those movements can really help strengthen the muscles that typical strength training program, lifting weights, a lot of times they don't hit. So those like little tiny muscles that you do use running, plyometrics can really help increase the strength in those. As well as incorporating mobility training, like stretching. I used to just, wake up, go out the door, run, come back, not stretch. But the older I get, the more mobility training. I do a lot of Pilates actually. Once, twice a week. Yoga is also a great tool for mobility and stretching those muscles. Just in the previous slide, just avoid overtraining, kind of get out of that all or nothing mentality. It's really easy to want to just go from 0 to 100. But even every time I've come back from an injury or postpartum, it's always humbling to start smaller, shorter runs than I think I need to, rather than just going out and doing what I was doing before, which can lead to definitely some injuries. And then warm up properly. So whether you're going for a bike ride, going on a hike, it's always good to warm up properly before getting into your full workout. For focusing on form, there's a lot of running stores have treadmills that can both watch your foot gait, so they can recommend specific types of shoes based on how your stride looks. And then they also can give you some tips on form. There's also just a lot of great resources online if you don't live near a running store where you can get in and do something like that. a lot of great resources online, YouTube videos that do focus on correct form. And then just pay attention to the aches and pains, you know, be mindful of how your body's feeling. If you're just sore, like muscle soreness is different than, you know, a deeper soreness, painful soreness that a beginning injury can be. So just be mindful of those little aches and pains that you sometimes feel. And if you're feeling something that feels more than just a typical muscle soreness, you know, kind of stop what you're doing and figure that out rather than powering through. And a lot of like the goals that we focus on in Evolve can really help with injury prevention, like fueling your body with nourishing food, making sure that you're eating enough, replenishing those calories that you're burning. You know, all forms of aerobic exercise, running, hiking, biking can burn a lot of calories. But if you're not eating enough, it's just going to be counterintuitive. You know, you're not going to see those results on the scale that you'd like. So you definitely need to fuel your body with nourishing food. And then making sure that you sleep 7 to 8 hours per night. Or, you know, our bodies, sleep is when our bodies recover. And they kind of build back up from the pounding that we give them every day. So definitely focus on getting that sleep. Above all, whatever your preferred method of cardio exercise is, stick with what you love, have fun while you're doing it, and just don't compare yourself to others. Just pick what brings you joy and do that. No matter how fast, how slow you are, how long it takes you, the fact that you're out there doing it, really that's all that matters. So that is